Good evening, YTPC. Sawgunner here. Tonight, I'm smoking my Stanwell 63M. Well, this is a great pipe, folks. I bought this about 20 years ago. It's when Stanwell was still made in Denmark. This is just a great smoking pipe. In it, I'm smoking some Balkan Sasieni. Wanted to talk a little bit about that tonight. This is a really good blend. The jar note, you get that, of course you get the Latakia. And you get like some herbs and fruits and a floral note. Just a beautiful tin note. On the smoke, of course, the Latakia comes through. I'm not sure what percentage of Latakia is in this. I know there's a lot of discussion about what constitutes a Balkan blend, what constitutes an English. A Balkan blend is an English blend. But as the name indicates, and in my opinion, this is a Balkan blend. I'm still trying to decide what the lead component is. I'm not sure if it's the Latakia or the Orientals. They're both, I think they're both in the front seat. And to my way of thinking, this is what I would call a Balkan blend, because the Orientals are really at play here. So to me, a Balkan blend is an Oriental forward English. But like I said, in this one, to me, to my palate anyway, the Oriental and the English, they're both they're there. I think they just are blended very harmoniously. They really complement each other. I get that, the smoky Latakia, very herbal. The Orientals are very herbal, floral. The Virginia's there, just putting a level of sweetness to it. This is a good blend. And this will definitely make its way into my rotation, for sure. I plan on having plenty of this stuff on hand. And then another thing I wanted to touch on. I know this week, this coming Thursday will be Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. It just, the first holiday, the first holiday of the season, and it really kind of kicks off the holiday, the whole Christmas, New Year's season. families coming together, good food, good time spent together. So for me, Thanksgiving, I would say I like Thanksgiving more than I do Christmas. Not that I don't like Christmas, but Thanksgiving is just my personal favorite. So tonight I wanted to talk about turkey. Now every year I make Thanksgiving dinner. And my main dishes are the turkey, of course. I make homemade cranberry sauce, candied yams, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, and gravy. And, when I first started making turkeys, I would always look for these fancy recipes. I was always just trying to outdo myself every year, trying to find just a fancy, special way to make the turkey. And it seemed like not only were they really not coming out very well, but it was just a frustrating experience all the way around. Cooking is preparing it, cooking, checking on it, basting. And frankly, I was about ready to throw in the towel on making turkeys. So I said to myself, there really just has to be a simpler way. An easier way that I can make a turkey and it can still just come out moist, juicy, and delicious. And sure enough, there is. Just the old-fashioned way. Just put it in the oven and leave it alone. That's what I do. And since I started doing that, man, my turkeys come out great every year. So what I do, I don't make big, huge turkeys. I tend to go with the smaller ones. I usually stick within probably the 12 to 13 pound range on my turkeys. If I need more, I'll just make another one. Now you figure when you calculating how much turkey you need, it's usually about a pound to a pound and a half per person. So really, if you're going to have not more than 12 people over, then a smaller bird is just fine. And if you want leftovers, just make another one. That's what I do every year. So, usually on my Thanksgiving holidays, I don't know if you've ever had more than 10 people. So my smaller turkeys are really ideal. Because I find when you make the bigger turkeys take longer to cook, and they usually don't cook evenly. Like the breast will be done way before the dark meat, and it's just, by the time it's all done, part of it's dry, and it's a nightmare. So I stick with smaller birds. In fact, every year I make 2 turkeys. I make 2, like I said, 12 to 13 pounders. I just find that those smaller turkeys cook more evenly and more thoroughly. So here's my tips for roasting a turkey. So like I said, I start off with a smaller turkey. You want to make sure your turkey is completely defrosted. The best way to defrost it is in the fridge, and that's usually about 24 hours for every 5 pounds of turkey, so plan accordingly. I know I've had a few Yours were at the last minute. I was just taking it out of the fridge and leaving it overnight. But if you plan accordingly, you should have plenty of time. Another thing, when I roast my turkeys, I never rinse the turkey. You're just ruining it if you do that. You're just waterlogging the turkey. So what I do, I open the turkey, I take it out of the package, and I dry it with paper towels. I pat dry it, make sure it's completely dry, inside and out. Then what I do is I use olive oil. Now you can use whatever oil you want. I don't use hydrogenated vegetable oils. But if that's your thing, go ahead. Just use an oil. I use olive oil. And I basically rub it all over the turkey. Get a nice, good coating of olive oil. And then I sprinkle kosher salt all over it. And black pepper. Just all over the bird. And a few dashes on the inside as well, and a couple pinches of the salt. And then, I never stuff the turkey. I always cook it unstuffed. If you stuff the turkey, it takes longer to cook, and you run the risk of it drying out. So I cook an unstuffed turkey. But what I do, I take a chunk of onion, a piece of carrot, a piece of celery. I put that in the cavity. And then I take a sprig of sage and a piece of rosemary and a little sprig of thyme. And I'll put that into the cavity. And then I set my oven at 325 degrees. Low and slow, that's the best way to do it. Now, another thing that that's very, very important, you want to make sure that when you put your turkey in the oven, that the turkey is at room temperature. You never want to put a cold turkey into the oven, because it'll take forever to cook and it'll dry out. So it has to be at room temperature. There's been times when, it's getting crunch time and my turkey's still cold, so I'll take it out and put it in the car for it to warm up a bit. The sun's shining on the car, so it's always warmer. But anyway, make sure your turkey's at room temperature. So then I put it in a 325 degree oven, and about 15 to 20 minutes per pound. So my 12 pounders, usually they're done in 3 hours. And to test doneness, I take a meat thermometer and I stick it in the thickest part of the thigh. And it should be between 165 and 170. And, or another way, if you don't have a meat thermometer, if you poke on the breast and the juices run clear, and then you look at the drumsticks, if the skin is pulled back from the drums, that's pretty good indication that the turkey's done. Another thing that's very important is let the turkey rest. You want to let it rest a minimum of 20 minutes. What you want to do is give the juices time to redistribute throughout the bird. If you take it out and cut into it right away, your juices are going to run out all over the place and you have a dry, not very good turkey. So folks, those are my Saw Gunners turkey cooking tips. I hope you all have a safe and happy and wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope it's all spent in the company of your families, and you all just have a good, safe, and blessed holiday. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.